being sad is not that bad of a thing. I came to this conclusion some time ago, several months before I released my video Managing Pain, and my stance has, relatively speaking, not changed. I believe that life is suffering, that life is a net negative. I very often have thoughts of taking my own life. It has decreased as I've gotten off of Discord. I've thought a lot less about taking my own life, but the thoughts are a common occurrence with me. There is no rhyme or reason why I am sad. I've often been someone who has said, I'm sad, to friends I've had, and then they immediately ask me why, or say what's going on in a surprised way, even though there is nothing that's going on. This is just the way that I think and process the world, and it comes more as a surprise to me that other people do not think the same way. When you realize this about me, it kind of explains a lot of the things that are in these videos, because I felt this way for a long time. You may have seen footage of me as a kid and assumed that I was just this happy-go-lucky character that wanted to film stuff all the time and play and move around. And while those things were certainly activities that I partaked in order to just sort of recreationally manage being alive as a kid, there was a lot of pain at a young age there. A lot. With my video Understood in particular, where I showcased a lot of that old footage of who I used to be, I wanted to show you the positive sides of my childhood. I wanted you to see the good things rather than the bad things. And I think when I consider this dichotomy between the good and the bad experiences that we have throughout life, it's very easy to make the assumption that, life is totally neutral, that life can be anything as long as you make it something, that as long as you accrue enough positive experiences, that neutrality allows for things to be good. I do not buy into this. I believe that to be alive is to have lost something, that to be alive or to have been brought into the world is to, without your own consent, without the consent of the person being made, is to experience pain, that you're made to experience pain, and that the absence of that pain beforehand is a moral good, whereas making yourself experience pain through having been born is not. And regardless of however many good experiences you have throughout your life, regardless of whatever narratives you tell yourself to make life seem as if it is good, it's all a distraction. Always a distraction from the inherent suffering of the world that exists by being alive. All of the diseases, the thoughts, the feelings, the motors that turn the world, a lot of it, the majority of it, I would say, is negative. Those good things that we all emphasize, that we all talk about, are not the main driving force in our lives. And in fact, in my own life, as someone who experiences larger bouts of depression than other people, much larger, is majority negative. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the fact that even though I'm put on this earth against my will, without my consent, that I've been made to experience so many horrible and traumatic things, that I've been made to live my life being this person who feels like a husk, like a shell of a human being, as someone on the outskirts of society. I'm okay with that, because I would rather be interesting than be happy. I can make these videos, or I can sort of express myself through art, and that's more interesting. As long as I can look at myself and I know that I am not like other people, I am okay. Everything that I resent about normal people, everything that these normal people have, believe that they have, everything that they stand for, as long as I know that I am not like them, then I am okay. And I realize, yes, this is a way of coping with the suffering of the world. This is a way of finding a narrative that allows yourself to get through life a little bit easier. But at the very least, I am acknowledging the essential truth that life is a net negative. And there's a number of other ways that I tend to get through things. Allegedly, not true, this part is fake, I've had moments where I've wanted to end my own life, where I've come particularly close to ending my own life. And I just got really high. I used every substance that I had on hand, and then after I did that, I didn't want to end my life anymore. It wasn't a concern, because I remembered that it's possible to be alive and feel really good things, that's allowed as an escape from the way things are now. When I look at a lot of my interests, making these videos, how good I feel when I make these videos. When I look at how good I feel when I immerse myself into the world of video games. When I look at how good I feel when I watch anime. When I look at how good I feel when I craft my environment around the idea of maximizing the aesthetic potential of everything that's around me, trying to make the environment I live in expressive. It's these little things, these little interesting things that happen throughout the day that differentiate us from other people, that make us interesting, allow us to get through. It doesn't make life a net positive, it doesn't make life good per se, but it helps us get through. The goal is not to live a good life. The goal is not to live a great life. The goal is to get through. And the reason why is because being sad is not that bad. It's just a way of being alive. It's just a part of this whole train wreck that all of us are on. Come sooner, come later, death is going to come around. I ought to not force its hand by taking it upon myself to make it come faster. I have a myriad of ways to speed the process up, but making it come immediately seems like a bit of a waste when I have as much art around me to consume and as much art to construct out of my own life to have been built. So beyond all of this coping stuff, how to cope, the fact that life is a cope, that we're all coping, that we're all copes, by far one of the best copes that I've found is closing myself off from the outside world, keeping myself away from other people, allowing myself to stay in this isolated space where I control the environment, where I make the rules, where I call the shots, where I roll the nickels. That seems to be, in my own experience, the best way, or one of the best ways of dealing with this problem we call existence. Because when you're not around other people, you aren't subjected to the negative aspects of relationships, like being attached and then losing someone, or getting angry at all of the strange things that make people individuals. You don't have to deal with all of the potential ramifications of arguments and the anxiety caused by just being around people consistently. None of that stuff. None of it's there. You are just your own person who has freedom and autonomy to do what you would like within your means, of course. If you don't have a whole lot of money, you're kind of relegated to the computer. But I just so happen to be the type of person who mainly lives on the computer, who does not want to interface with anything outside of the computer. And when I'm just by myself, I am the least anxious and depressed that I can possibly be. I am entirely in the zone. I am in the zone when I'm alone. And they just so happen to rhyme as well. Because all of those problems, all of those random daily confusions and anxieties, they just melt away. You are the commander of your own ship, and you don't have to worry about the implications of who the crew is. You can just rely on yourself. And I think that's a really great thing. And for not everyone, but for the type of person who relates to this video and relates to my other videos where I talk about the continuous frustration with other people I felt, I think they could heed this advice and it'd probably be useful. Being sad is not that bad It's just about how we deal with it, and how we deal with it will ultimately get us through. And I think getting through is worth it in the end, because these feelings, for as terrible as they are, can make some beautiful art and be beautiful in and of themselves.